Your dog does not just remember you. They remember what you did. Not commands, not treats. The actual moment you looked up from your phone and paid attention. Research on canine episodic-like memory found that dogs encode specific human actions and replay them later, unprompted. That means every interaction you have is being filed somewhere. This video will show you what your dog is actually storing and what that says about you. If you want to understand what your dog is really telling you, you are in the right place. Here is the behavior. You do something completely ordinary. Open the refrigerator, pat the side of your leg, pick up your keys, touch the hood of your car. You are not training. You are not testing. You are just living your life. And then, an hour later, maybe a day later, your dog does the same thing. Not a behavior you trained, not a cue you gave. The specific, unremarkable thing you did, replicated with an accuracy that stops you cold. Most owners dismiss this. They attribute it to coincidence or projection. They tell themselves they are imagining it. But there is a name for what your dog is doing. It is called episodic-like memory, the capacity to encode a specific event in a specific context at a specific time and retrieve it later without being asked to. It is the same cognitive architecture that underlies human autobiographical memory, and your dog has a version of it. The question researchers have been trying to answer is not whether it exists, it is how rich it is and what triggers it to activate. Now, here is the part most dog channels skip, because if your dog is encoding episodic memories, specific events, specific actions, specific emotional contexts, then the question is not just what they remember, the question is what they are encoding in the first place. And that depends almost entirely on you. Memory researchers have long known that emotional salience determines what gets stored. Events charged with attention, novelty, and emotional signal are encoded more deeply than background noise. Your dog's memory system operates on the same principle. What your dog files away is not a random sample of their day. It is a curated archive of the moments that were emotionally alive, the moments someone showed up. In 2016, researcher Claudia Fugaza and her team at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary published a landmark study in Scientific Reports, demonstrating that dogs could recall human actions they had not been trained to imitate, even after a delay. The dogs remembered. But what the study could not tell you, and what no one is talking about, is that the quality of what gets remembered is downstream of the quality of your presence. Your dog's memory of you is a record of how often you were actually there. Number 1. The unexpected test. Fugaza's 2016 study used a method called do as I do. Dogs were trained to imitate a human action on the cue, do it. Then critically, the researchers added a twist. After the human performed an action, the dog was told to lie down instead of imitate, signaling that the action was over, not worth remembering. Then, after a delay, the researchers suddenly asked, do it, and the dogs did it. They retrieved the specific action from memory, even though they had been implicitly instructed to discard it. This is the unexpected design, borrowed from human episodic memory research, where participants who do not expect to be tested on something still remember it. The fact that dogs pass this test suggests their memory system is not purely instrumental. It is not just storing things tagged as useful. It is storing experiences tagged as significant. And significance in the dog's nervous system is largely determined by social context, by whether someone important to them was present and engaged when the event occurred. Number 2. The emotional encoding effect. Human memory research has a well-established principle called emotional encoding. Events accompanied by strong emotion are flagged by the brain as important and stored with more detail, more durability, more retrievability. The amygdala acts as a relevance filter. If this felt like something, keep it. Neuroscientist Gregory Burns, who put dogs into fMRI scanners at Emory University, found that the canine brain activates in response to familiar human scents in ways that overlap with reward processing regions, suggesting that the emotional landscape of the dog-human relationship is neurologically registered, not just behaviorally expressed. What this means for episodic memory is that your dog's archive is emotionally sorted. Interactions where you were distracted, rushed, or absent in spirit may register, but they register faintly. Interactions where you were present, curious, warm, those get the amygdala flag. They get stored with depth. The owners who wonder why their dog seems so attuned to them, so responsive to subtle cues, so in sync. Those owners are, often without knowing it, the ones who consistently show up in a way that gets filed as significant. If that just made you see your relationship with your pet in a completely different way, hit subscribe. We explore the science of the human-pet bond every week and what it reveals about us. All right, let us keep going. Number 3. The rehearsal loop. In human psychology, memories do not just get stored, they get rehearsed. Every time you recall a memory, you slightly reconsolidate it. You reinforce its neural pathway. The memories we return to most often become the most durable, the most defining. Research suggests dogs may operate on a similar principle through behavioral rehearsal. The actions they repeat, the behaviors they return to, the moments they seem to replay, these may represent an active memory consolidation process. Think about the dog who greets you the same way every single time you come home, not just because they are trained to, but because they are reenacting a ritualized memory. Or the dog who goes to the same spot at the same time each day you used to take walks together, even after the routine changed. They are not confused, they are rehearsing. And here is the psychological mirror for the owner. The rituals you keep with your dog are the rituals your dog files as the structure of their world. Interrupt them carelessly, and you are not just changing a schedule. You are revising their archive. The consistency you offer is the emotional infrastructure of their memory. Number 4. The selective forgetting. Memory is not just about what gets stored, it is about what gets released. And dogs, like humans, show evidence of selective memory, not in the clinical sense of repression, but in the practical sense that not all experiences leave the same mark. Researchers studying canine stress responses have found that dogs who experience aversive events with a trusted person recover faster and show fewer long-term behavioral changes than dogs who experience the same events without a secure attachment figure present. The memory is colored by the relational context. József Topol and colleagues at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences demonstrated that dogs with secure human attachment, assessed using protocols adapted from human attachment research, showed fundamentally different cognitive and emotional responses to the same environmental stressors. The securely attached dogs did not just behave differently. They processed and likely encoded the experience differently. For the owner, this is not just a data point about dogs, it is a data point about you. The security you provide does not just comfort your dog in the moment, it literally shapes the memories they form of shared difficult experiences. Number 5. The social anchor. One of the most consistent findings in canine cognition research is that dogs use humans as social referencing points. They look to us not just for commands, but for information about how to interpret the world. This social referencing has a direct connection to memory. What a dog encodes about an event is influenced by how the owner responded to it. Your emotional reaction is part of their experience of the event, and therefore part of the memory. Researcher Adam Miklosi and his team at Eötvös Loránd University have documented extensively that dogs demonstrate a level of social attunement to human communicative signals that is unmatched in the animal kingdom, a sensitivity that evolved specifically through thousands of years of living with us. That sensitivity is not passive, it is active surveillance. Your dog is reading your face, your posture, your breathing pattern, and filing that data alongside every other detail of the moment. The owners who think their dog is simply happy or anxious without reason are often missing the variable themselves. You are in the memory. You are the anchor around which the episode is organized. Number 6. The presence variable. Here is what all of this converges on. The variable that most consistently predicts what your dog remembers and how they remember it is not the quality of your training, the size of your house, the number of walks per day, or even the breed of dog you chose. It is the quality of your presence when you are with them. Presence is not the same as proximity. You can be in the same room as your dog for 12 hours and be entirely absent. You can spend 20 minutes fully engaged with them and create a memory that resurfaces for months. Dogs are not measuring time. They are measuring attention. They are measuring whether when something happened, you were actually there. And here is the psychological echo for the owner. The question of whether you show up fully for your dog is rarely just about your dog. It is about how you show up in relationships generally, whether you default to distracted co-presence or genuine engagement. Whether the people and animals in your life get the version of you that files the experience as significant. Your dog's memory of you is built from the moments you decided to be present. That is not a small thing. So here is what you now know about yourself. Your dog's memory of you is not a neutral record. It is an emotionally sorted archive, built from moments of real attention, real engagement, real presence. And if you have been mostly in the room without being in the experience, the archive reflects that too. Not as failure, as information. The research does not suggest you need to be present every second. It suggests that the moments of genuine engagement carry disproportionate weight. That your dog's sense of safety, their behavioral patterns, their ability to recover from stress, all of this is downstream of what they have been able to encode as meaningful. And meaning in the dog's nervous system is co-created. It requires you. You did not teach your dog to remember you, but you have been teaching them what you are worth remembering for. And you can change that anytime. Not through a new training protocol, not through a new routine. Simply by deciding in ordinary moments to be actually there, to look up, to notice that they are watching, to let that watching mean something. Your dog is not asking you to be perfect. They are asking you to be present. The next time your dog watches you, really watches you, the way they do when you are doing something ordinary and they have gone quiet and still, remember that they are not just watching. They are filing, building a record of who you are in the moments you are not performing for anyone, not even for them. The research on episodic-like memory does not tell us exactly what a dog experiences when they remember, but it tells us they do remember, and that the richness of what they store is inseparable from the richness of what you offered when the moment was happening. Your dog's memory of your life together is, in its own quiet way, a portrait of your capacity for presence. And that portrait, the one they are building in real time, right now, as they watch you from across the room, that portrait can change. Thank you for investing your time with us today. Now that you know your dog's memory of you is built from the moments you were genuinely present, not just nearby, but actually there, we are curious, what is one specific moment with your dog that you think they are still carrying with them, and what does it say about you? Let us know in the comments. New episodes drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so make sure you are subscribed to catch the next one. Until then, decode your dog, decode yourself.